How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson.
Welcome to
Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
As a general philosophy.
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Last Word Cheetah here in the Bets TV studios. I am Preston Johnson, hosting the show, alongside Qwan Young, who is co-hosting and producing. We are taking your calls as usual, 661-515-BETS, but we have a college football guest first. We had him on a few times before the season. Dylan, I actually don't even remember his Twitter handle. I should remember it. He can tell us when he jumps on. He's calling in a couple of minutes. We're going to break down not only kind of his general thoughts on the season, how it went, 3 of his favorite bowl picks for the bowl games that are coming up. We have a first game starting Friday, Toledo, Middle Tennessee State. The 2 playoff games. Just want to know his thoughts there, whether he has or sees any value one way or the other. But before we do that, Qwan, there was a record that was broken last night. Poor Paul, with his chance to make $2,500. Didn't work out for him.
I know he's hurting.
He was hurting, yeah. When you have a free shot at like $2,500 and then maybe even more, it's tough. I like the question. Steph just got it done. Bang, bang. You know, it's like 17% chance for him to hit his first 2 he takes, and that's what happens. So sometimes that happens. It's all part of the craziness. I will say this, though, and the cliche is, and I tweeted it, but like the man who changed the game. Everyone says that as, yeah, okay, whatever. Like analytics also probably would have helped where everyone was going to shoot threes more often either way. But the way that, and again, I know it's a cliche, but I really believe it, for like the last 6 or 7 years, and you know, I still go to like church. When I was in Las Vegas prior, I worked with the youth and the kids within the church organization, and we'd go like once a week into like the basketball court gym area. And like, anyway, I'm telling you, for the last 6 or 7 years, all I see now since are kids chucking 25 to 30 footers. They're like 8 years old, and that's all they're doing. They're trying to be like Steph.
Yeah.
They're not even practicing free throws anymore. And the reason it connects with all of these kids, to be quite frank, like back in the day, it was like, I want to be like Mike or whoever. Look, 99.99999% of these kids can't 360 dunk and like do all the athletic stuff.
That's a big deterrent.
They can all chuck 25-footers and hope they go in, like was what Steph brought to the table. So I'm telling you, we're just now seeing it where a lot of the younger generation that kind of saw towards their junior high to high school years Steph Curry happen. They're already, you know, shooting a bunch more threes. Part of it's the analytics, yes. But I'm telling you, it's just going to be more evident, I think, over the next decade as all these kids that watch Steph as they've grown up, all they do is practice shooting threes now. It's just what it is. And I'm going to tell you also, I've had this running thesis that free throw percentage and free throw shooting is going to go down, just especially with the younger generation, because they just don't practice free throws anymore. Back when I was growing up, it was like, practice your free throws, got to shoot your free throws, blah, blah, free points. That's why Qwan shot 20% when we did our little, whatever it's called.
Well, back in my day, they taught us to shoot mid-range jump shots. I had the pleasure of watching, you know, as a guy, you might have heard of him, Michael Jordan. He was the master of the mid-range. And then we had one of the greatest mid-range shooters in Detroit, in Rip Hamilton, run around some down screens, come off a curl. That's who I modeled my game after. Now, listen,
you shot a few like little turning fadeaways. Yeah, you had that.
That's it, man. Listen, I play basketball like a football player. That's all you're getting out of me. But yeah, like the chicks dig the long ball, and that's what Steph brought to the game. Like I was seeing people argue that like Trae Young is going to be a guy. I don't think there's anybody that's going to break that record in the amount of time that he did it in.
No.
And
I think there's someone that could break it that plays like 20 years in the NBA and eventually gets there, but probably not in the fashion that Steph does where he's winning titles because of it, MVPs. And they showed like I saw a tweet, I wish I could, Frank Jackson, maybe someone tweeted it, but the value in every 3 Steph took versus like Ray Allen and the amount of time it took. So Steph did it way quicker, obviously, but it was actually the per 3-point attempt value was like 2.5 times more efficient or something crazy. It was like 16 points over 1,600 points total over expectation versus Ray Allen in the 600 range. And anyway, it's just, yeah. If someone does do it, it's because the game totally turns into like some guy just shoots 15 a game for his whole career, but probably doesn't ever do it as good as Steph anyway, but the volume gets him there. So, yeah.
Jack says in the chat, he changed the way the youth plays. We all wanted to dunk back in the day. Patrick wanted to make crisp passes like John Stockton. Everything.
Patrick does kind of remind me. If I was to give an NBA player to all of the callers, Patrick and John Stockton is the perfect comp.
Everything we play defense and get layups with Jim, and Chris Paul might be the best mid-range jumper right now. That's KD all day.
Yeah, KD and Paul are both right there, but yeah, KD I think it's just impossible to stop. All right, do we have Dylan calling in yet?
We do have.
We do. Okay. Dylan, welcome back to the show, man. How are you doing? Let us know how your college football season went before we start diving into some bowl games.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, you're good. Can you hear me okay? You all right?
Oh, yeah, we are good.
Nice. No, I was just asking how your season went before we dive into some bowl games. What did you learn? Anything overarching thoughts?
Yeah, I went pretty well. Ended up positive. Couldn't win weeks 2 through 4, but the rest was pretty much smooth sailing, so that's fine. Main takeaways, you told me that this morning, and the first thing I thought of is maybe listen to what your eyes are telling you. I thought Wisconsin might have an offense that was pretty bad. And another thing I thought was funny, so I just went through my power ratings since you asked the question, and there was quite a few teams that got thrown in the trash early, like New Mexico State. I have Navy, Tulane, and North Texas written down that even if they didn't win games, they still played hard and finished strong, so it's not groundbreaking, but maybe use that. There's 130 teams. Maybe use that to your advantage, you know?
So I'm going to ask you one thing because, real quick, the Wisconsin season was really weird for me because early on I also believed they were going to have a better offense. And then their box scores were really strange where they actually outgained Notre Dame by a bunch, but then they lost the game by 30 something. It wasn't adding up. I think I bet Wisconsin 3 straight weeks and luckily got the third one. But then down the stretch, if you tried to fade them, they were just punishing people. So I think it's an interesting team in general. You don't have, I think, anything Wisconsin related in the couple of bowl bets that you sent me. But let's start with your first one, which is Arkansas, which is one that I have also expressed, so I won't get into it too heavily, that I liked earlier on when lines were coming out, and we talked it over last week. So they're going up against Penn State. Tell us why you like Arky.
Yeah, I made them a small favorite. There's not much to it. I just think they're a slightly better team, and I think they win a close one. I don't know if the listeners all know, but their best receiver opted out. I think that does matter, but I still like them to win that game. I played 3. I think anything, under a field goal is good, which obviously it won't get there probably, but yeah.
All right, next up on your list, I'm actually pulling it up. I don't remember in my head. I know you had Utah State, but I don't remember number 2. We'll just go to Utah State first. I know people on both sides of this one. I am staying away completely. There's also some 7.5s now in the market. The market has bounced back up on Oregon State. But you like the Mountain West Conference champs. I'm not sure what the price was before the season, but it was really high. Nobody really bet Utah State except for Kanish, and he let everyone know it. Why do you like the Aggies? Break it down.
Yeah, I hated to see that with Nish winning that, but anyway, I don't know. I think I make the game around 3. I think despite being in that inferior conference, I think that 2 teams are closer than the line suggests, and they do stop the run well. I know they're playing worse competition, but they do decent against the run, and that's really what Oregon State does on offense. I think that Utah State can score on them. I do think it's kind of a high variance game, but I think they can keep it close and maybe even win. But it's far from a 5-star lock. Bowl season's weird, but I do like Utah State.
Would you play money line, or do you bother playing money lines in some of these bowl games that are kind of more variance regardless anyway, just because of all the extra variables?
I actually haven't done it yet for this game, but I usually don't in the regular season, but might in bowl season. So, maybe like a fourth of a unit.
Fair enough. Utah State, by the way, finished the season number 21 against the Rush and EPA, and against the Mountain West Conference. But it's not like the Oregon State team is anything crazy.
Yeah,
anyways.
It's funny. I did look at their box scores. They didn't do as hot against the better teams. I just don't want to, sound like the tout shill. So that is something that someone might care about. Like they struggled against Boise, stopping the run, and then Air Force, and I think BYU ran it up on them well. But Yeah, they have a lot of time to stop the one thing that Oregon State does well, so we'll see.
Okay, and the third one that you threw at me was Kentucky, which has moved quite a bit, and I'm intrigued that you still like it. I believe it's -3 now in the market, so I'm pulling up the most current price. There's a few more 2.5s that are left. Break it down. I liked Kentucky as well. My number was closer to 3, so I wouldn't probably lay 3 myself, but you still think it should be higher, so go ahead and let us know why.
Yeah, I have it at about 6. I don't think Kentucky has a very good defense, but they're good enough to stop a one-dimensional team that really doesn't even run the ball well, which is really what Iowa tries to do. And on defense, of course, Iowa is good there, but I think as long as I think Kentucky can get their skill guys out in space and beat them to the edge, and as long as they do that, I think they can pull away. I think it's one of those games where it's like, kind of a slog, but then Kentucky pulls away and wins by 7-10 or something like that. So, yeah, I like the Cats.
I have a question. Did you bet them against Louisville at the end of the year?
Unfortunately, I did not. No, I didn't.
Okay. I was curious. There were a few people that had that line quite a bit flipped, and if you're all the way up at 6 against Iowa, I'm just intrigued. I was like, you're probably pretty high in Kentucky, but you must have been pretty high on Louisville too. Let's hit the 2 college football playoff games, starting with Georgia-Michigan. I believe that's the first one on the slate. No, it is not. I am wrong. Cincinnati, Alabama starts at 12:30 Pacific. So let's go there. Cincinnati, Alabama. Point spread's 13.5. Most spots, 58 on the total. It's pretty fair for me. If you made me bet the side, I'd take Cincinnati and hope that there's a 14 that pops, but don't think we'll really get much. Just your quick thoughts there on that game.
Yeah, I haven't played the game. I don't think I will. I have a slight edge on Cincy, but nothing worth playing. I think I like obviously Cincy has a great secondary, but I'm afraid that like what we saw in the SEC title game, that it just might not matter because offense I think usually wins when you're as good as Alabama is. And also another thing that kind of concerns me, I think Cincy kind of lives on like long explosive runs, and that's obviously a lot hard to come by when you're playing Alabama. So yeah, I'd take Cincy if I had to, but nothing I'm too high on.
Okay, I actually do like under some, not quite enough, but that would be my look in this game. If Cincy never gets to 14 either, but I think it's a fair concern on them living on the explosive plays, which are just more likely in the AAC than they are against Alabama's defense, especially when Saban has a bunch of time to prep. And then the last one, Georgia-Michigan, it is at 4:30 Pacific. It's about 8.5 everywhere. There's a few 7.5s. Totals moved up a little, 44.5, 45. I like the over. This is, of the 2 playoff games, my biggest edge by far. I think the side's pretty fair. But anything you like in the game particularly?
I make it 6. I definitely lean Michigan here. The one concern I would have with Michigan is I don't think they can really stretch the field like we saw Alabama did the other week, obviously. That could be a concern. And I still wonder about Georgia's secondary because they really weren't tested all year. Then they obviously got kind of blown up. But Alabama's just that much better than everybody else. So I think if you're on the fence, that's probably something to look into. Georgia's, as far as Georgia's offense goes, I think it's pretty much a neutral matchup. So yeah.
So let me ask you one then more like kind of macro question on that, because I'm just curious what your process is like. So we saw what happened even going into the year. Everyone was like, Georgia's secondary, pretty young. They're going to need to get tested. Like, we'll see if the Georgia defense and Kirby Smart are that good. And then like all year before that Alabama game, they were historically good. They graded out as one of the best defenses we've ever seen. Then Alabama lights them up, and it's like, oh, see, look, the secondary's young, and they just needed to play an offense. How much stock do you then, and like, how do you quantify what happened in the Alabama game versus all the other games versus Michigan? It's tough. Do you generally just find yourself passing those next games just because you feel like there's too much variation?
In general, yes, but when you ask me that, the first thing I thought of is kind of whatever your preseason prior is probably what I would lean on because I think in the regular season they didn't really see anybody, so I don't put much stock in that. And then Alabama's a different beast. So assuming there's no injury or you don't think somebody, really fell off or took a step forward, I would probably say trust your preseason opinion there.
Okay.
But yeah, obviously there's 50 bowl games or whatever, so I don't have to play, So that's
Don't
kind of my
have to force it
personally.
If we learn anything, it's don't force bowl game bets, but everyone usually does because they're bored during the holidays and want to bet every game. So That's usually what goes down.
Yeah,
By the way,
victim of that.
I did look up your Twitter account, Dylan. You guys can follow him at Thoughts of Dylan. I think I said it slightly differently before. Thanks for jumping on, man. We appreciate your time and good luck in the season.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep. Take it easy. Now that you have an account, Qwan, and you're betting, holidays are going to be interesting. College, NFL, NBA on Christmas. Good luck, sir.
I'm recovering after last week. I'm taking it very slow.
Have you not bet anything this week at all?
I put some plays in for tomorrow's game. I took the total over, and Sunday I put in two totals. So
okay,
I'm looking. I'm keeping. It's only 20. It's only back to my original units.
And you didn't just completely unload, so that's good.
Yeah, we're going slow. Slow and steady wins the race. Tortoise in the hair type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really listen.
Here's what's great is if you're losing slow and steady, also you don't lose it as quickly, so it's also nice on that front. No,
it's right in the middle.
$800
stuck in the middle with you. That's it. That's a song. You might have heard it before.
You gonna sing it for us?
No.
Okay.
Stuck in the middle with. That's all I'm getting. We got some callers.
All right, let's bring them in. Who's first?
We got Brian in New York.
All right, Brian. Welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, Preston. Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. What do you want to lock in for us in a Patriots game this week?
I think I'm going to try my second teaser and pair it with the 49ers. I think I saw Pinnacle was still at -8. So any way I could get that above or below 3, I would like to do the Patriots and Niners in a teaser.
You know what's interesting sometimes about these books? The screen will show 8, but if you click the teaser tab on the actual site, it'll be 9. I am going to check for you in real time because it's just an interesting thing. But I also when the whole market is 9.5, I feel a little bit dirty letting you tease it down to 2. So I'm going to log in as if I have a login there and see if I click teaser, if it actually is still sitting there at 8. So let me double check. In the meantime, you can tell everyone why Mac Jones is the best quarterback in the league.
Sorry, I lost you there for a minute. What were you saying?
I just said in the meantime, I'm going to look this up. You can tell everyone why Mac Jones is the best quarterback in the league.
Well, I mean, he's a rookie, so, I mean, for what he's doing now, he's just really not making mistakes. So, I mean, that's all Belichick's asking him to do. He's pretty much just playing into the system, and McDaniels is drawing up good enough game plans where, he's just doing what he needs to do to win games. So, for now, it's all we need out of him.
I am not quite there yet. Qwan, why is Mac Jones the best one in the league? I'm pulling it up, though. It's just loading. I had to run a VPN, if they call it that, I think.
He's he's playing. Like protecting the ball, that's one thing you want out of your rookies. I think Bill Belichick is starting to trust him more, which, if you get his trust, he'll allow you to take shots downfield, and he's protecting them. Like you saw in the Bills game where the conditions dictated everything in the game plan. So he didn't force Mack to go in there and heave the ball downfield. He had a solid game plan in. And I don't think they wanted to throw the other 3 passes or the other 2 passes, but McDaniels dialed something up for him that were pretty easy. 2 out of 3, 66%. What more can you ask for?
Best there is.
Yeah.
I got to the teaser section. It is 9.5 down to 3.5 when you get to an actual teaser. So you cannot use San Francisco. I wanted to confirm. You can swap it to someone else, though, if you still would like. I know there's a few options. Who did you use yesterday with the Pats? Was it Miami?
Yeah.
Okay.
Miami down, yeah.
That's good because I got up to 10 now.
I will take. What do you think is better, Pittsburgh up or the Bengals up? I like both of those.
Let me see. You can get in 8 on Pittsburgh. Let me look real quick on Cincy. You can get Cincy. Oh, definitely Pittsburgh. Cincy's almost 3 anyways. The market is like 2.8. So yeah, you definitely want to use Pittsburgh. Yep.
All right, I like that. I'll go Pittsburgh and New England. Tease down.
Cool. Done deal. Thanks for bearing with me. I just wanted to confirm before I gave you like an extra full point on a 3 in a teaser. So just had to make sure it was fair.
Yeah, no worries. I get that. Thanks, Preston.
Cool, man. Take it easy. Next.
We got Patrick.
Nice. John Stockton, welcome to the show. I've been meaning to talk to you for a long time. I'm flattered. What do you got for us today?
You know what? I am like John Stockton, only instead of passing a basketball, I dish out winning picks. So get ready for this one. We're going to get chalky today. I'm going to play the 49ers, too, at -9 straight up. So this is who the Falcons have beat this year. They beat the Giants by 3, Jets by touchdown, Dolphins by 2 points during their early season skid, Saints by 2 with the Simeon, the Jags by 7, Panthers by 8 with the ghost of Cam Newton. So this is a combined 6 wins with an average margin of victory of less than 5 points, and it gets extremely weak strength of schedule with a winning percentage of like 33%. So in their 7 losses, they lost by an average of nearly 20 points to teams with a combined winning percentage of like nearly 60%. So, I mean, this tells me that the Falcons can squeak by against equal or lesser opponents, but they get absolutely dump trucked by any team with a pulse. And the 49ers have a pulse. So I'm high on this 49ers team, especially the offense with Deebo Samuel, and I don't think the Falcons will be able to exploit the weakness in the Niners secondary with only Kyle Pitts, still missing Calvin Ridley. So the Niners match up extremely well in the trenches on both sides of the ball. So I see them winning this game by margin. And as an added bonus, it looks like the Falcons have some COVID issues this week as well. So I think this line's only going to go up. So I want to grab it at 9 because I like I said, I think they'll win by margin.
Probably goes to 10, especially if the COVID news is, or once it's confirmed of who, in case it's more significant than not. I'll say my pure number, even without COVID or not, it's a 9.4. So, I mean, I'm kind of, it probably goes to 10 if Atlanta ends up with a couple of starters out, defense or offensive side. I don't hate it. Yeah. What I do hate is that I like San Francisco some with you in that Seattle game where they just totally no-showed and probably should have had, I mean, they did have it in hand early. They were up 14 and then just fell apart. Atlanta, a little different playing at home against the Falcons than Russell Wilson on the road. So, not bad.
Yeah. And you know what? If you like the 49ers this week like I do, I would go ahead and bet the look ahead against the Titans at pick next Thursday because, I mean, this line is only going to go one way after the Niners throttle the Falcons, and I think the Titans are going to lose outright to the Steelers. So I would bet that line now if you're so inclined.
The last time you did this, I think, was a Pats game and you or Chargers. I don't remember, but you beat like a key number of 3 and then it lost anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's usually, I mean, I'll bet a couple. I mean, you can't put a lot of money down, but I mean, I'll bet a couple look-aheads usually every week. So, I mean, I think that's a good value. And I think the Colts, you can still get Colts 4.5 versus the Cardinals a few places as well. I think that's pretty good, too. I think that's going to go down, too.
They're on the road, right? Yeah, there's some spots that are sitting 3.5 already, so that is probably the right read there. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, man. Appreciate the info as usual.
All right.
Enjoy your Wednesday.
Yep. See you guys.
Talk to you later. By the way, do you think John Stockton's assist record is ever getting broken?
In this NBA, no.
Why is that?
There's
more scoring, so there's more opportunities for assists.
Yeah, but
right?
there's no who's the most reliable pick and roll tandem in the NBA. Like, it would probably be Chris Paul, probably one of the players you rely on the most.
Yeah, he's third, but still over 5,000 assists behind, and he only has 10,500. Like,
I don't think that type of point guard exists anymore.
The problem is that if you even have a point guard like that in this era, John Stockton just played so many seasons, and he played every game every year. And he got to nearly 16,000 assists. Jason Kidd retired at 12,091. He's basically a 4,000 assist lead on number 2, which is Jason Kidd. I don't know either, but I also, would say if like LaMelo Ball ends up or Luka just end up doing triple doubles for 20 years, then there's a chance. But Stockton had years where he was averaging like 14, 15 assists,
He
right? Per year.
He wasn't a scorer first.
And he just played every game.
I think the point guards in this era are more Steph-like. They're going to come down like LaMelo, somebody you mentioned.
Yeah.
Like he's got the range. He's going to start pulling up, like if he needs to. But I just don't see that type of ball being played anymore.
You know who's top 10? Detroit.
Zeke.
Who?
Zeke.
Top 10 in assists?
In assists? Yeah, Zeke, right? Isaiah Thomas?
They call him Zeke over there?
Zeke. Yeah. Isaiah or Zeke is the nickname for Isaiah.
Somehow I was like thinking Ezekiel Elliott this whole time, and I was like so confused.
Come on.
I would do, like people say IT. All
you
is
didn't
well.
know Zeke was his nickname?
That does not ring a bell to me. I literally thought you were talking about
Isaiah. Is it Zeke or Zeke? Yeah, it might be like how like Robert is or Bob is Robert.
Yeah.
I think Isaiah is always Zeke. I don't know why, or it might just be.
Yeah, it says Zeke on here. I googled it. I guess I missed that one.
Oh, you may have me questioning myself. We got
I feel
we got Paul up.
By the way, he's 9th, just behind LeBron James. All right, Paul is up.
Yes.
Paul, any thoughts on your least favorite player in the league, Steph Curry?
That's just how it goes. No worries at all. So, and
by the way,
Qwan is right. Yeah.
Go ahead. You're sorry. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I just was going to say that Qwan was right about Zeke. So I've always known Thomas to be called that. So he's
not to like make you guys feel old, but I didn't really watch Isaiah Thomas, so maybe that's part of it. But you're saying that's a nickname for Isaiah, just like always, or Isaiah Thomas's.
I believe it is.
Somehow I missed this my whole life.
It might be. It might not. It might just be him specifically, but I thought it was.
Okay. Because I didn't really get to watch Isaiah Thomas much. But anyways, Paul, DM me your Venmo or your PayPal email, and I'll send that to you later today. I gotta get you the $250 for day 3, close on $2,500.
No worries. And I wanted to ask how your son was doing too. So hope he's feeling better.
Oh yeah, he's at school today. All is well. He's a lot healthier. Just needed a couple days to recoup. So I appreciate that.
Good. All right. Well, I guess I need to turn my focus into the monthly leaderboard since I'm on top of that right now. So gotta keep that going. I want to go to the Bulls, and I know the numbers come down some, but I still like it. And that's the UTEP, and I think it's at 11.5, plus 11.5 over Fresno State.
All right, 1 second. I got to re-switch my screen. It's been going slower these last few days. I don't know why. I'm going to blame the internet. Maybe I'm actually not on our personal internet, and it just auto-connected to the studio spaces. Wait, what's the number?
Is it 11, or has it gone down from there?
Did you say UTEP?
UTEP. Yeah.
Man, I'm having, I don't know, Zeke or Isaiah. I'm clicking the wrong buttons. I'm like looking at, just don't mind me. Once I look up teasers on stuff, it was crazy. So you can get 12.5 on the dog or 11 on the favorite. There's a pretty big gap there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take 12.5.
Okay.
On the dog there. Yep. I just think that, especially if the quarterback for Fresno doesn't play, then I think it's really, really good. And then even if he does play, I think there's still, I think it's still a decent play. So
okay.
I'm going with the dog there.
I know someone that likes the other side if he does play. I think this number is expecting that he doesn't. I'm not sure, though. For me, I actually think it's pretty close to fair. But if Hainer ends up deciding to like go pro or whatever happens, there's a pretty big drop off. So you're definitely right in that sense. It'll be interesting to see. This is one of those games where I couldn't bet it until we knew who's going to be quarterback of the big favorite. So, and by the way, you guys want to hear a fun stat? My buddy Chris Moore texted me earlier, just was asking if I had any thoughts on this, because he's noticed the last few years books have started shading these bowl favorites quite a bit more. Bowls, the last 200 games, bowls of 7+ point favorites are 74 and 124 and 7 pushes ATS. So like a 36 or 37% win rate for big faves. And so he just noticed the lines are a little more compact, especially for the bigger faves. So you have that trend on your side, whether it's a viable trend or not. It just, at least over the last few years, 200 bowl games that fall in that range, that is on your side. So anyways, good luck. We'll lock you in with UTEP and talk to you later on.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Bye-bye.
I think part of it is that a lot of times the big favorites are the ones where, especially the last 5 years or so, it's become so popular to rest your best players, or they just skip the bowl game. So the bigger favorites aren't covering as frequently, or the lines are just going down. And so now, earlier than ever, books were just kind of shading 2 to 3 points on these favorites out of the gate. There's a few others like Toledo. Again, there's also in that case, there aren't any pros, but there's always like a Mack conference like tax on the market, because the Mack had a couple runs in bowl games where they couldn't win or cover. And there's another one he liked, the big favorite. So just interesting thought process in general. Who's up next? Did you mention it? Sorry.
We got Ty.
Ty. Okay. Hey, Ty, man. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you. Hit us with what you got for today.
I'm going to take whatever you have. I was curious. Best number either for spread and money line. We'll look at both for the Montana State Bobcats this weekend in the FCS semifinals.
Ooh, okay. Hold on a second. I can give you +6.5.
I'm excited for this breakdown.
You going to bet Montana State?
No, I want to know what Ty knows about Montana State and the Bobcats.
+200 is the money line, or +6.5.
I'm going. I'll take money line.
Okay, can you tell us why?
Yeah, so they're playing at home. They're off a kind of an upset road win. And there's a couple defenders that are questionable, and try to follow some FCS beat writers. And while nothing's been determined at this point, it looks like the defenders will play. And I don't know, there was kind of a period of time where Montana State's starting quarterback for the majority of the year, I don't know if he sat or why, but he announced he was going to transfer, and there was this whole bet the other side in the first round of the FCS playoffs and what's going to happen to Montana State. And it appears the team has kind of rallied around him. The head coach has done a really good job, and then I have a buddy who lives in Bozeman, and he's going to be at the game, so I want a little skin in the game as well.
That's a nice little breakdown, little psychology going on and trying to handicap the situation. I will say Jeff Sagarin, who does FCS numbers, I don't know if they're actually any good or not, to be frank, has this like a little lower than 6.5. He had it 5.6 or something, 5.6 something. Interesting, but we'll give you the 2-1. We can go.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they're winning the game more often to me without running any numbers than they are covering and losing, in my opinion. I think they're at home, they win the game outright. I like that better at 2-1 than covering 6.5, but losing.
Let me ask you this: how often, just in your head, what distribution, like what percentage of the time, do you think Montana State loses by 1 through 6?
Speaking strictly from a math perspective.
Yeah, like, do you think they lose by 1 through 6 1% of the time, 30% of the time? Like, what's the number
I would say somewhere in like the 30 to 35% of the time.
Okay, then you should be betting the point spread, right? Because you're only getting paid out on 2-1. Like, 33% of the time is break even. 50% they cover the spread. That's only a 17% split. So that's what you're trying to gauge when you're looking between. Even if you don't have your own model, you can at least try to think of it, logically. Like, okay, if there's a 17% difference there in the money line implied price versus trying to just win 50% of the time at 6.5. In my head, it feels like they probably lose because 3 is such a key number, especially for a total that's mid-40s. It probably is supposed to be like 20%. And so my guess is that getting 6.5 is actually better than plus 200. Again, I don't do my FCS stuff. I haven't run it, but yeah.
Yeah. Then you know what? I'll take the 6.5. I'll switch over to plus 6.5. Is it 110 or what's the number on that?
Yeah. Minus 110. And now the great news is they're going to win outright now, so you can bet it in real life and make some extra money.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for talking me through that. Let's go Bobcats. Qwan, jump on it with me.
Yeah, you got to now. All right, man, take it easy.
All right, see ya.
The game's on Saturday. It's in New Orleans. Do you say New Orleans or New Orleans? New Orleans. Night game over there. Can't hate it. Anyways. Continue.
We got Andre.
Nice. Andre, how's it going, man? Welcome back to the show.
What's going on, Preston? Thanks for having me, per usual. I'm eyeing the Milwaukee Bucks at home against the Indiana Pacers. Had the lineup. So it's eluded me, so I don't have it right in front of me. Okay, so I'm taking Milwaukee. This is coming off, in my view, the shellacking that they experienced here in Boston. Prior to the Commonwealth, Pat Connaughton, was a part of that loss. They gave up some close to 120, 30 points. And so Coach Bud, none too pleased. He's going to right the ship. Never mind the fact that the Indiana Pacers are in flux, transition, rebuild, however you want to call it. And then just kind of wrap this call up, let other folks get on. I'm a little bit Rick Carlisle, somebody I had a lot of respect for, somebody that the Dallas Mavericks wanted to keep, thought he did a solid job. I kind of look at him as an Eric Spoelstra type of a situation, whereas he has the backing of ownership. He knows his business. He gets the job done. The rift between him and Luka.
Did you read that story earlier today?
I did see the further story with Luka's not liking how he's talking to people, all these reports. The jury is not out for me because Rick Carlisle is the reason the Indiana Pacers went to the NBA Finals in 2000. Larry Bird admitted it was the assistants, i.e. Rick Carlisle, that built that up. He was the visionary. Rick Carlisle was the accountant, and he built up the Detroit Pistons before Larry Brown took them to the NBA Finals. So I'm not jumping off the Rick Carlisle bandwagon so soon, but I'm concerned because you have a team in Indiana with Sabonis and Brogdon that with good leadership should have been competitive, and they have a couple role players in the mix. But for them now all of a sudden to blow this situation up, I don't know, and especially for a market like Indiana, that doesn't make sense to me. It looks like they're going to become the next Oklahoma City. You have an all-star in Sabonis and a very good, point guard in Brogdon. Why don't you build around them? And they're going in a different direction, so I don't know what to make of that. But back to the business, I like the Bucks tonight at home. Coach Bud not happy. They're going to right the ship and get the job done, cover spread.
Real quick, Andre, before you hang up, I don't want you to hang up yet. Couple of things. One, me and you need to chat hoops more frequently, not just on a quick phone call, because for one, I haven't read the article yet. I saved it. It's tabbed in my window. I'm going to read it tonight when I have some time. But I think there's a ton of great points in there. Obviously, Carlisle's more old school. You have the new age players. I'm going to read into it, but I can't speak to that piece specifically. But I agree. I think he's generally underrated as a coach. And what's interesting is, I don't know, the Pacers are overreacting to the fact that their record at the time the thing came out, I think they were 11-16. They're 12-17 now. Their point differential is +2. Do you know who also has a point differential of +2? The Bulls. They're the 2 seed. They're +2.6. It's a little bit higher. Point being, the Sixers, they're way better than them in that sense. They're better than the Wizards. They're better than the Hornets. They're better than the Celtics. They're better than the Hawks. better than the Raptors. Their record isn't, but like you can't just like I think jump to conclusions because you start. They lost so many OT and like one-score games. I was shocked that they're like, let's blow it up. And Carlisle's, I mean, he wasn't brought in to do that. So I'm very intrigued to see where that all goes. Last thing, Andre, the reason why I wanted you to stay on. You know the Bucks are out like a bunch of guys. You've done this before where, of course, the Bucks at home is a 2-point dog. Giannis is out. DeMarcus Cousins is out. George Hill is out. Brook Lopez has been out for a while. And Middleton is also questionable. And Dante DiVincenzo's out. So that's why they're underdogs at home to the Pacers. So I don't know if that worries you.
Indeed, Preston. That's why you're the sports cheetah. You know, that's the marinara sauce that I didn't include. I just had a bowl of noodles. You put the marinara sauce on it. So now I gotta really reconsider. You know, I'm gonna stick with my Bucks pick. Just again, being at home, and I think we know what they did in Atlanta without Giannis. You know what I mean? And so I'm you know, you provided the information. So this bowl of pasta is not going to be eaten. You know, it's not going to be as scrumptious as I thought it was going to be.
Don't go crazy.
You know, but I'm gonna stick with them. You know, hopefully they can cover. But I got to do my research. I got to do a much better job research. So great talking with you, Preston, as always. And talk further about this Rick Carlisle. Again, this is a divorce where we're going to see, just in conclusion, because Luka, you're the guy and you're putting up the numbers, but you're not about that life. You're not in great shape, and you can't keep this up and keep producing. So there's going to be a reckoning there where somebody's going to have to get through to him to let him know that, you can't rely on the talent. That's what he's clearly doing, being well over 260. We see how that's working out for Zion. Obviously, two different body types, but he is going to have to commit himself more to the game. That's a storyline I think is underreported. And Carlisle, again, Pacers, you're on thin ice here, but you can hold it together, as you said. Appreciate it as always, Preston. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Sounds good, man. Take care. And definitely, guys out there listening, if you find a bet that seems like, wow, this is way off, the defending champs are at home against a team that's 12-17 and they're getting 2 points, check the injury report before. And if it's clear, go for it. But at least check the injury report. Andre's missed that a few times. But at least he's able to pick out that, hey, this line doesn't make sense. Just got to go one step further. All right, who's up next? We got anyone?
We got Hunter in Houston.
Okay. Hunter, thanks for being patient there. How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Nothing. Just hanging. What do you got for us today?
Cool. I got I'm going to do Keenan Allen anytime touchdown tomorrow for plus 150.
All right, hold on. Let me pull up the prop shop real quick. Keenan Allen, you said, right?
Yep.
Plus 180, I see.
Oh, that's even better. Preston.
Best price. Yeah.
That's even
Might as
better.
well. Any reasoning or just going with something for getting ahead of Thursday night football?
I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. So I think he just gets one, just him being one of the best receivers on the team, or being probably the best receiver on the team.
There it is. Keenan Allen is due. You're going to get almost 2-1. All right, man, we'll lock you in. Good luck tomorrow.
All right, Chris. Yes, sir.
See ya.
We got Shank.
All righty. Bring him back through. Shank, what's up, man? Welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
Thanks, man. Not bad. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. What do you got for us today?
I am going to go with, all right, first let me know, can I do a parlay of a side and the total for this, or is it just, do I have to pick one? You don't call so much that you're going to win this whole thing on this pick. I will allow it. It's all good. Generally, we just try to say no parlay so people don't just fire 50-1 shots every day and then it's more boring. But if you want to do a side and total, got a good reason, yeah, let's go for it. Okay, that also reminds me, I don't know if your guys' alerts aren't working or something. I try and 4 is tough on the East Coast because that's when everyone decides they want to schedule meetings. But if I'm not in one and I see the alert on my phone when you guys go live, I like to hop in. But the last couple of days, I haven't seen any of the Twitter alerts, and I do keep you guys on alert. So
it's because we changed the way that it's getting posted. It's going up as a YouTube link now, and Twitter censors the YouTube links, and so you're not going to get notifications of a competitor. Twitter. Yeah, it's just Twitter just censors stuff. So yeah, we're just trying to get more eyes directly on the YouTube channel versus just the Twitter views.
That makes sense.
But that's
I'll try it.
Yeah, you just kind of have to remember that we're
Okay.
going live, and it's all good though. But that
Gotta
is
hit the
exactly
bell
why.
on YouTube.
Or we need to find out who the Twitter people are and tell them to stop censoring. But they have this thing called Twitter broadcasts now. Why would they want to publicize YouTube links? So they have it censored.
I get it.
Yep.
Misaligned incentives.
Exactly.
Makes sense. All right. I'm going to go with, let me get a parlay of Howard on the money line and the over, please.
Ooh, okay. Tell us why. Break this down a little bit.
Sure. So I want to, Howard only has one chance of winning when they shoot a lot of threes. And they do shoot a lot of threes at a pretty decent clip. But the thing is, they've stopped doing it recently. They did it a lot. They did it in the beginning of the year against Bradley and Nova. And I think it's because they started playing underdogs. Like lately, they've started playing people around the same competition as them. So they haven't needed to shoot threes. They're still losing, whatever. Hoping they go back to shooting the threes. And Georgetown also, like they were firing off 30+ threes in their first two games. Like 30%, it was close to a 50% like 2-point to 3-point field goal attempt rate. It was wild. Georgetown also shoots a lot of threes. They got into a race with Longwood, who also shoots threes. Syracuse also shoots a lot of threes, and threes are highly volatile. So if I can get it, so if I can get a money line dog in a game where both teams are shooting a lot of threes, I'll take it.
I'm looking up a couple numbers because your theory.
You know what? Scratch it, Preston, and I'll just take the 460 at FanDuel for the money line.
Okay. That's fine because this was actually with the parlay with the big dog. It was going to get up toward almost 10-1 on a parlay. Let's go with the money line.
Money line's fine. I mean, the more I'm talking it out loud, I do need Georgetown to miss the threes for Howard to win, right?
I was just looking because it's interesting. Both teams shoot almost exactly 39%. So you're just hoping that you get the good flip of the coin, more or less. On each side a little bit. But if Georgetown is missing a good portion of theirs, it probably isn't going to get to 158 plus, I think is the current total. So,
Exactly. Georgetown's been getting their flips. Howard needs the flips now. Honestly, I look at threes as coin flips, man. You just need the good flips. And also it's a rivalry game. I'm very close to Howard's campus, and the Georgetown campus is on the other side of the city. Yeah, so I have to make it down there. I have heard that Howard has the best cheerleaders in all D1 college basketball.
Really?
That is what I've heard.
We'll go investigate and let us all know.
I'll investigate. I'll investigate for a different game. They're not playing. I was checking. They're playing this one at the Verizon Center. But I want to go to a home game at Howard. Just because I like different atmosphere. And I've been to Maryland. I've been to BC, but I've never been to any of the smaller games, so we'll see.
Fair enough. Hey, good luck tonight. We will talk to you later on. Appreciate the call.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Take care.
Yep. See ya.
By the way, I don't know if we have someone else on, but before we jump to that, he approaches this trying to pick out teams that shoot a bunch of threes and just getting right with the 3-point variance because it fluctuates so much relative to the money line price. The one thing I hate the most I actually don't mind that there's a bunch of threes in the game of basketball now, NBA and college. It doesn't bug me. I actually appreciate trying to maximize scoring the most points you can. Of course you would. What I dislike is how hard it is to explain to people that the explanations, and it sounds like excuses if you don't think it through, but the explanations to why a lot of teams lose basketball games now is just strictly 3-point variance. It's like, one team shot a bunch of threes and only shot 27% from three. You're just not going to cover almost ever. Or sometimes some team has a 24 to 48 minute stretch. They shoot 55% from three. You're just going to, at the rate everyone are shooting threes, you're just going to cover when you shoot that well from three, almost always. And so it's really cop-out explanation, it sounds like. But so many games are predicated, which just increases the overall variance of betting basketball, on if you make your threes enough or your opponent is shooting and missing enough. And it's also the most annoying part of sweating games. And then in college, you can add like free throw variance because these kids late in games or the 1-on-1s, those can start getting to you too because they just miss free throws more often than in the NBA. But that's essentially what betting basketball has become, is if you're on the right side of shooting threes or not, which is kind of lame. So that is the one downside on the betting side to the way basketball is played. As a fan, I actually love it. So anyways, let's move on. It's kind of a tangent.
We got OG John in Florida.
All right, John, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing today?
Doing great, man. Thank you. What do you got for us?
I'm going to go to tomorrow and do a first-time scorer, but I'm actually going to do English Premier League.
Interesting.
Yep.
Let me just plug it in and see if it pops up on this little prop shop thing I have. What's his name?
Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Okay.
And he's a player for Liverpool.
25-1.
And really 25? That's a nice price.
Points.
Okay, yeah, I was seeing like 16, so that 25 is pretty good. And yeah.
Oh wait, which game? Which game is it? Against who?
It's Newcastle.
Got it. I was looking at the wrong
Liverpool
one. He's 20-1. 20-1 against Newcastle.
Oh, so nice. Okay.
Yeah.
20. You said 20-1.
Yep. Sorry, Qwan.
Yeah. He's a defender, but he really comes up into the play quite a bit, and he's had some really good looks lately. I follow Liverpool, so that's sort of my team. So I'm going to take a chance and have something to root for tomorrow. It's a 3:00 game before the NFL starts. So
there you go.
I'll be watching.
I love it.
Yep.
All right, man. We'll lock it in. Take it easy.
Yep. Take care. Bye.
Interesting if he's noticed, like tactically, he's pressing more as a defender, or at least making runs at it. Maybe it's mispriced. Oh, it's interesting. 20-1. We have anyone else on the line?
Yep, we got a few callers. We got Carlos.
Carlos, welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
What's up, Preston? I ran in front of the Monmouth train and got ran over, so that didn't work.
Yeah, you got a little cute. The do to lose did not work out for you, shockingly.
It did not. Quick question: do you have any prop bets for NBA tonight? Because I go to MGM. Actually, I'm on my way to MGM now. But if you go about 45 minutes north of here to Maryland Live, they have FanDuel as their sports book. And then I think if you go another 30 minutes north, I think DraftKings is doing horseshoes.
You just want to make the rounds today?
Yeah, I actually am. Yeah. But I wanted to check in on LeBron. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I don't run NBA prop stuff this season, and anything I've ever done in the past, I'm using a multitude of other people's projections that I respect. So I would not be able to tell you, though. I haven't been looking at player props at all in the NBA.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you about LeBron's odds for a double-double tonight.
I mean, I can look those up for you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. I can tell you the difference in price between those books, too, that you mentioned, if it helps. I don't know how far you really want to drive, but let's see. I guess I only see it listed on this prop shop. He's plus 105 to record a double-double at FanDuel. BetMGM might have one, too. It's just not populating, but maybe it's not up yet either.
They may not, which is interesting. I'm surprised that they don't have them. I looked at them this past weekend, and I didn't see they offered any, which is disappointing. But
okay,
that's why you guess you got options. What about Trae Young's 4 or more threes? 4 plus 3. Is there any number on that?
There is always a number, almost always. You can bet over 2.5 made threes at minus 139.
Oh, no. Okay, that's not.
Unless you want 4 plus, that's going to be plus money, but you only need to do 2.5.
How much is 4 plus? How much is 4 plus play? Okay.
I'd have to go into an app and look directly. The screen just shows 2.5 is the line across the board.
Okay. All right. Tell you what. let's do. I'm going to reach Nebraska of Omaha plus 20 against UNLV.
He asks about all these NBA props, and he's like, all right, give me Nebraska and Omaha plus the 20. Let me make sure that's the best number for you. We'll lock it in. Any money line, or you just want to go with the 20 points?
No. UNLV should not be laying minus anything against anybody. This is not Larry Johnson's UNLV.
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska, Omaha, can you name a player on the team?
Yeah, Carlos, how much research have you done on this one?
Very little, but I know UNLV is not not going to beat them by more than 20.
For what it's worth, I just want to mention this. By the way, I think UNLV is fine. They're probably about average. Nebraska Omaha grades out the 7th worst team in college hoops this year via Torvik and his numbers. So good luck with that 20 points. But you might be right. I just normally don't handicap games in the year 2021 based on Larry Johnson's UNLV team. There's not much correlation there. So, Carlos, we'll see if it works for you. Good luck, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
See ya.
For the past few months, I've just been putting aside the $50.
In like a CD, getting interest on it so you can make a little bit back. Who's up next?
We got Jamie.
Hey, what's up, Jamie? How are you doing?
Hey. So I think this has been an interesting show for Qwan. So far, he's now betting on Montana State, and he's decided to take a trip to Howard to check out the cheerleaders. He didn't tell you these things. He didn't tell me these things, but just knowing Qwan, I know that both of those things are true.
I was definitely intrigued by the Howard cheerleaders being.
Should we let Jamie make a parlay on you going to the Howard game with betting on Montana State?
Go, but what is it?
Although,
Bison?
Qwan, I would be careful. It did sound like he was handicapping Montana as the home team, and then Preston said the game was in New Orleans. So just one thing to keep in mind there.
Yeah, I think if you're just looking at the screen and you're like, oh, the bottom team's home, but it's the FCS playoffs. They don't just play home games at this point. Anyways, what do you got for us today, Jamie?
All right, let's go Chicago State for tomorrow. Was 3.5. I think it might be down to 3. See what you got for the best line there, but I think they'll win. If there was a money line price out right now, I would take that.
You got to go 3 minus 116. It looks like minus 115. Right. Sorry, or you can go 2.5.
3's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they'll win. Ooey Pooey, that's actually their name. Yeah, Ooey Pooey's pretty bad. They're probably just about the worst offense in college basketball this year. Bottom 5 for sure. Let me look. I don't think they haven't cleared. I think it's 50 in their last.
Yeah, I was gonna say this total's really low.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, Ooey Pooey, I think every game has gone under anyways, and their totals have been really low. So.
The worst team of the last few years in college basketball by far has been Mississippi Valley State. This year, next worst is IUPUI. So they're laying points.
So their last, there's no way they should be laying points here. They're terrible. So they've scored 44, 45, 45, 41. Or no, sorry, they got 61 against a next tier team, the D2 or whatever. 57, 59, 47. And this is against other inferior opponents. They're putting up 40.
Yeah.
So Chicago State was the skid stains on the college basketball underwear last year. They were terrible. They would lose games by 30. They should have been mercy ruled last year, which is why they're catching points here. But they've actually been a lot more competitive this year. And Ooey Pooey has taken a significant step back. I don't follow it enough to know what happened, but they've been really bad. They should definitely not be laying points. And Chicago State has actually been quite improved. So I actually would venture that this will close closer to a pick if it doesn't flip all the way over. So
I could tell you why they look this bad, if you want to know.
What's that?
outside of the fact that they're probably worse, they shoot 24% from 3 so far through 9 games. So you're not going to win. We just talked about 3-point variance. You're not going to win and cover or score points if you're shooting 24% on threes. So who knows if they're really a true shooting team that's that bad. Realistically, they're probably like a 33% 3-point shooting team or something. So there's positive regression for them eventually, but might not be here. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Their name is also Ooey Pooey, so they've got that working against them.
It's funny, you go from in the tournament sometimes, you've heard the Ooey Pooey joke just because they were making the tournament regularly, and now they're one of the worst teams in the country.
I think we were close to IUPUI. I've never heard the Ooey Pooey joke.
All right, well, the Zeke thing, Ooey Pooey, that's a trade-off then. If you've never heard that, I never heard Zeke. We're even there. All right, Jamie, we'll lock it in at the 3. Talk to you later on.
All right, see you guys. Yep.
See ya.
We got 3 callers left. Jim's up.
Cool. By the way, and Jim, I'll let you on in just a second. Because next week for the holidays, we're not going to be doing Last Word Cheetah. I'm going to be out of town for some of the days. And then when Thursday and Friday hit, it's basically Christmas. We're not going to be doing Who Wants to Be Betting Extraordinaire just because I don't want to have to make people wait a week and a half or something to finish off the segment. So we can go long here. We can take calls. There's no rush on that front. So, Jim, welcome to the show. What do you have for us today?
I have an NFL pick. Going to take, it looks like while I was waiting, there were some -1s on the Titans that kind of went away. So it looks like there's still some -1.5s on Tennessee if I can grab it.
Yep, we can do -1.5. Interesting. Patrick was calling earlier, said he liked the Steelers side some. People at least using it in a teaser. Why do you like Tennessee here?
I think they're a little underrated. They've gotten healthier. I really like their defense, and their defense has gotten healthier. So I just think that I still have them power rated pretty high. So I think this number is just way off, especially for me. And Pittsburgh's awful. I mean, they're awful. Like, Mike Tomlin is finding ways for them to, make games close and pull some out of their hats. But, I mean, I think Pittsburgh gets a heavy home field advantage because it's just a tough environment field to kind of play on. But, last week against the Jaguars, the Titans, really grinded it out and played good defense. I don't think Jacksonville ran a play inside the red zone the entire game. Now, granted, that's Jacksonville, but I also thought Tennessee played really well against New England. I think that score was kind of misleading on some fluky turnovers. Like, they really were the better team, at least in the first half. So I'm going to take the Titans.
Okay. We will lock it in. I don't necessarily hate it because there's something to be had about quantifying, obviously getting healthier, having guys out, and then now some of them coming back. How does that help Tennessee? Personally, I have Pittsburgh just outside my top 20 in the NFL. I don't think they're that bad at least the, Detroit, Jets, Jacksonville range. So there's still a pretty big gap between the Steelers and Jacksonville, which you alluded to. You understand that. But I have it pretty fair overall. But I will be sitting back and watching. Good luck, Jim.
Can I ask you a quick question real quick?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, so I'm sure this doesn't happen to you a lot, or as much as it does to me. But, I did learn from you to, you would always say, to respect the market, late in the season. So, what's your thought process on, a number that you have, really far off? Because, I'm sure you don't just blindly bet it. You know what I mean? I was just curious, what's your thought process on, diving into, okay, this is my number, we're late in the season with the market, how do I try to get there or do I stay away from it? You know what I'm saying?
I think so. So one thing earlier we mentioned about, we're talking NBA with Andre, it's make sure if it's way off, make sure there's no injuries or something that you're just missing, because there's a chance, especially in the COVID age, that just the market will react to the news. And if you don't know the news, just make sure there isn't news you're missing. But But in general, I will say this. If there's something that's really off and I can't figure out why other than I think the market's wrong, on like, say, Monday morning, betting football for the next weekend coming up, I'm going to bet it. But what's interesting is if it's still that far off on Saturday morning before college games are about to start, you probably shouldn't bet it. Like the market at that point has garnished all of its efficiency over the course of the week. And if there's still like, I don't know what's happening here, what should I do? Maybe just pass on those games because the market generally knows by that point any info that you're unaware of is going to be incorporated and integrated into that market price. You're probably just off. Again, and I've said this actually in the past, I'm not sure if it was to you or someone else. In those cases, I would track how you do versus the market historically. And if you still are hitting at a rate it's worth betting, then and you're confident you can beat it, then go for it. But otherwise, I would just pass if you're, kind of more new in the sense of trying to compare your numbers in markets and betting accordingly. So that's the overall answer, I think, kind of two-sided, but that's what I would do.
No, that's great info. I appreciate it. Thanks. I'll let you go.
No problem, man. Take it easy. Talk to you later on.
All right, see you.
All right, who we got?
We got Evan in Los Angeles.
Right on, Evan. Welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
Doing well, Preston. How about yourself?
So better than you, who I believe was the one that switched from Kevin Durant, right, from the triple-double?
That is correct, and
okay.
I just had to sweat out a 90 plus 13 minutes in the Wolves game, but 2 units is better than no units, so
true.
We'll take it.
It could be worse, but you also had 12-1 KD locked in before you hit the chat and changed it. KD was questionable, so I don't necessarily blame you. It's just as soon as he played, you knew he was going to get a triple-double. It was a lock, just how it goes.
Exactly, yeah. Underdog NBA, shout out Justin, had Harden available, so I was like, oh, once Harden's playing and KD's questionable, I don't think the usage will be there. An hour before tip-off, he gets a COVID positive. It's like, okay, it's going to be so easy now.
Yep.
But that's how it works. So I have a question about the NBA today for you.
Sure.
How well do you rate the Utah Jazz three-point defenders, the perimeter defenders?
What do you mean exactly, like individually?
Or I guess as a collective. So the bet I'm looking at is Reggie Jackson to have at least 4 or to have at least 5 three-pointers tonight.
Well, the way that Utah plays defense is like drop coverage with Gobert to protect the rim. They rarely will actually switch because of that, and then they let someone come back and help. But usually, if Reggie Jackson wants to get threes up, he'll be able to get them up. That's just kind of the way that their defense is schematically. Reggie Jackson isn't really going to go one-on-one ISO very much, pulling up step-back threes very often. So it's more like in the flow of the offense, will he get 3 attempts up? And, yeah, probably that's kind of the way that the Jazz play defense.
So I'm saying he averages 8 threes a game. So I'm saying he can make 5 threes tonight at plus 821 on the prop builder.
He could, for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't think that he's going to suddenly not shoot 8 a game, especially against the Jazz. I would be confident in that average number. So, yeah, if you think it's worthwhile at plus 821, he hits 5 of them, I think that's totally fine.
Okay, yeah, that's what I want to lock in right now.
Cool. Well, that was easy enough. We will lock it in. Good luck tonight. You've been close on a few of these where you've taken some shots, so hopefully you get one through.
Exactly, yeah. And never let me switch my pick again, guys. That was it.
Okay, well, we'll be certain next time. Sorry that it went down like that,
yeah,
but it was a good
guys.
story. It's good content. Thank you.
It was. Have a great one.
Take it easy. See ya.
Last caller is Mike in New Jersey.
Sweet. Mike, welcome back. How you doing?
Yo, how's it going, Preston?
We're doing well. What do you got for us today?
Well, I wanted to let Carlos know he could keep driving. DraftKings has the LeBron double-double prop at plus 145, so another 15 minutes for his drive.
So now Carlos needs to calculate gas mileage on the car versus the extra 40 cents. Is it worth the 45 minutes? Yep, that's good info.
Yeah, and then what I was looking to put on the board for the leaderboard was the Giants-Cowboys over. But I'm slowly losing faith in the Giants scoring with some of the COVID they've had coming up. They put Kadarius Toney back on the COVID list, and then Ross actually went on the COVID list, and then Xavier McKinney, who's unvaxxed, is a high-risk close contact, so he's not allowed in the facilities till game day. He has to test negative until then as well every day. So I'm not as faithful in the Giants scoring, but I am faithful in the Cowboys offense. Despite their inefficiencies, you don't have to be the most efficient to score a lot of points on the New York Giants.
No.
And when you have as many talented players as the Cowboys have, they've been inefficient, but still, scoring pretty well. Although I did lose the over in last week's game because by half a point because the football team's kicker decided to miss an extra point. So I am going to go with the Cowboys team total over.
Yeah.
Since there's no shows next week, are there no shows next week or no Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire?
There's going to be no Last Word Cheetah at all, just for the holiday. So yeah, we were talking about it at the beginning of this week and a little bit last week, where people kind of have to take shots earlier this month if they're behind or want to make a leap, because we're not going to have a ton of shows down the stretch with the holiday. We'll have a few in between Christmas and New Year's, but yeah, nothing exactly certain yet. So for sure though, out next week altogether.
For sure, enjoy the time off. So for that purposes, I guess I'll take a little bit of a longer alternate total. FoxBet has the Cowboys over 34.5 at plus 280.
Okay. That seems about right. I don't have
that's what I
Fox
want
on my screen, but that's right. Okay. We can do that.
I think the best current number up there, I think the DraftKings is still holding a 27.5 at not as much juice. I think it's minus 115, which I looked at a few other books. So it's like a pretty good number compared to the rest.
There's a lot that are 28.5.
For purpose of the leaderboard. Yeah.
Cool.
But that's all.
All right, man. We will lock it in. Good luck, and we will talk
Thanks
to
a
you
bunch.
tomorrow. See ya.
Bye.
Boom. All right. No one else called in the last call. All right.
No calls. We got
Fair enough.
stat bets real quick. Hayden wants Northern Colorado plus 25 or 25.5, whatever you got. Bob Loblaw wants the Ducks tonight, minus 160 on DraftKings. Question mark.
Northern Colorado plays Arizona, I believe. Let me check. He can have. There's 125.5 I see still in the market. A lot of 24.5s now, so that's seemingly the right side there potentially. The Ducks in hockey, is that right?
Yep.
Just money line. You can definitely get minus 150. There's plenty of that in the market.
And Hunter B wants Tyreek Hill under 6.5 receptions for plus 110.
That's an interesting one. Not many people that are jumping out to bet Tyreek under.
Yeah, that's scary. I looked at it in the chat and did a double.
You can get plus 105 on that under 6.5. Well, if he calls in tomorrow, excuse me, remind me to ask him. I'm curious what his process or thought process is on that. Cool. We can wrap it up. Nice work, Qwan. Got all of your calls. Thanks again to Dylan at Thoughts of Dylan on Twitter, talking some college football bowl games. Tomorrow we'll have Colin Wilson calling in to go over more bowl games with the start of them coming up Friday and us not having shows next week. So we will be back tomorrow as usual, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific in the Bets TV studios for Last Word Cheetah. Take care. Enjoy your evening.